Welcome back everyone to another video about Git Rebase. In this video I want to introduce to you the interactive rebase. So let's first look at our history over here. We have a couple commits called DEFG, which is where our master branch is currently sitting at, and from there we branched off a branch feature with commits A, B and C. Git Rebase gives us a lot of options on what we can do with our commits in the history. And I want to show you a couple of use cases that in which I like to use an interactive rebase. For example, let's look at our feature branch. We are happy with our feature branch, but we missed a comment or we have a spelling mistake in a file that we've committed or added in commit B. Now we could add another commit on top of it, and then we had commits A, B, C, and W. But in this case, we want to edit the commit B to just stay at 3 commits, and then for us it looks like we never made that mistake in the first place. So how can I edit a commit that lies in the past? Git interactive rebase to the rescue. So we start interactive rebasing like we did before. We go with git rebase. In this case we use -i for the interactive, and we need the base branch, which would be master. If we run this, we can see we are greeted with this editor and the following lines that correspond to our commits. We can see them in order: commit A, B, and C. And now we can pick which commit we want to work on. Here we have a list of commands that we can apply. You will see a couple more in later videos. But in this case, let's just change this line to edit because we want to edit commit B. After we've changed it, we close and exit the file, and there we go. We can see that Rebase started applying the commits. It started applying commit A, and then it stopped at commit B. So now we can perform our changes. So let's open file B. Let's change file B by adding a little bit of text to it, and close it and save it. So now what we need to do is, if we look at it, we have modified file B. So similar to other or to resolving conflicts in rebases, we now add stage file B. It is now staged, as we can see, and we can go with git rebase continue, and the rebase will continue after we've added the commit message. In this case we just leave it as is, and there we go. We've now changed A, B, C, and we can see that in file B we have the contents that we want. That would be one use case for interactive rebase. Another prominent use case for interactive rebase would be renaming the commit message of a past commit. Let's again look at our git log here. We can see commits A, B, and C. And now let's assume we want to rename commit B or the message of commit B to something else. So in this case, again, we fire up our interactive rebase as we did before, and we can just pick reword at this commit. We can also reword several, but let's just go for this one and go with R for reword, or we can even spell it out. Here we go. It begins, and we are stopped again at commit B, and it is asking us to enter the new message. So what we can do here, we can go with this is commit B. We save the file. There we go. We've changed the commit message of commit B. Another thing that interactive rebase allows us to do is reordering commits. So how we can do that is very simple. We fire up our git interactive rebase, and we can see here these lines can be reordered. They're executed from top to bottom. So for example, if we want B to be the first commit, then we can just move B to the top, this line, save our file, and we can see B becomes the first commit. If you're wondering what this might be useful for, well, you could use it for your history to tell a better story, or sometimes you might need a commit to be next to another. You can see that in the next section of this video. As we've seen before, it is also possible to reorder commits, and sometimes it might be useful to have 2 commits next to each other. For example, in this case, assume that commit A just adds comments to a file that was added in commit B. So now what we can do is we can meld two commits to become one. So we can essentially put the changes from commit A into commit B. Let's do this with an interactive rebase. So what we want to do is we have essentially two options, two commands that are helpful. We could either go with squash or we can go with fixup. The only difference being if I use fixup and commit A like this, let's go for F, then the changes of commit A will be melded into commit B and the commit message of commit B will be used. We can do that right now, or we can go for squash. And if we go for squash, we will be prompted for which commit message we want. In this case, we get commit message of B and commit message of A, and we can now just go for what we like. So in this case, let's just remove these lines and just go with the commit message of B, which is exactly what fixup would have done. So here we go. We've now turned commit A and commit B into the same commit. In this video, I've introduced a couple of commands or features of an interactive rebase with some scenarios in which you can use them. I hope this is going to help you to keep your Git history a bit tidy and cleaned up, which makes it easier for you to, well, if the need arises, spot bugs in your code and find them really quickly and read your history like a well-written novel. I hope it helps and thank you for watching. In the next video, I want to show you one more thing, namely how to drop commits, which might be useful when actually rebasing a good chunk of your commits, but wanting to drop a couple off. See you then.